Up next, Memorial Day preparations underway in Great Falls, and your holiday cookout doesn't have to be bad for your diet. Those stories and more right now on Fox 5 News at 9.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. Vice President Joe Biden telling bereaved military families he really feels their pain. He lost his first wife and his daughter in a car accident about 40 years ago. The Vice President speaking to TAPS, the network of families who've lost loved ones in America's wars. He says because of relatively few Americans serve in combat, most people don't understand how military families sacrifice and suffer.
You should know, only 1% of you have fought these wars. And much less, thank God, than 1% of those who fought the wars are going through what you're going through. We owe you more than we can ever repay you.
Vice President Biden's wife, Jill, has worked with First Lady Michelle Obama on outreach to military families. Flags are a big part of Memorial Day, and many Montana residents are displaying the red, white, and blue this holiday weekend. Fox 5's Steve Newton went out today to get more information about how to properly handle the flag.
Emily, Governor Schweitzer had ordered flags in the state to be flown at half-staff today in honor of James Browning. And as we go into the Memorial Day weekend, there are some things to keep in mind when displaying the Stars and Stripes.
The National Flag Code has been around for nearly 90 years, providing advisory rules for the display of the U.S. flag. Most of the guidelines are self-explanatory, like not letting the flag touch the ground and it flying in front of public institutions. But there are some lesser-known guidelines, like a flag must fly from a staff during a parade, and that when a flag is displayed against the wall, the star should always be in the upper left corner. For Memorial Day, the code states that the U.S. flag is to be at half-staff, or like it was today, until noon, then fully raised until sunset. If it is raining or snowing, the flag should not be flown unless it is an all-weather flag. The Stars and Stripes can remain up overnight like the one at Overlook Park if illuminated properly. And remember to care for the flag by cleaning or mending it as it requires.
Now, there are a few organizations allowed to properly retire flags if they become too damaged or worn to be flown. Among them are the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America and the American Legion. If you have a flag that needs to be retired, please contact your local chapter of those organizations. Steve Newton, Fox 5.
Thank you, Steve. Memorial Day started as Decoration Day in 1868, a time when people were encouraged to decorate the graves of those that died in the Civil War, a tradition that has carried on through today. Families have been taking some time out of their week to clean up and decorate the grave sites of their loved ones. Mount Olivet Cemetery in Great Falls has seen a steady stream of people all week planting flowers and leaving American flags for veterans. One local business cares for the cemetery throughout the year, and families of those interned appreciate their work.
I like coming out here because I have family members out at the cemetery, and we just clean up all the graves, and I get to see them and help out everybody else here. I just like doing it for the community, and it helps out everybody. The people around here, they'll stop just while you're working. They'll stop you just to tell you thanks, and that's really nice.
Both Mount Olivet and Highland cemeteries in Great Falls are expected to be busy throughout the long weekend. Moving into weather, Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin is here with your first look at our forecast.
Good evening. Weather conditions will be deteriorating, and we're going to see that precipitation gradually increase in intensity. Coming up in your Fox weather first, we'll take a look at winter warnings for the mountains where some heavy snow is possible. Also winter advisories for other locations where rain may mix with snow at times, and we still could get several inches in there, but that's between 4,000 and 6,000 feet. So we'll let you know what to expect in town. And with all this liquid, the Milk River expected to rise, possible flood problems in the works. More on that's coming up in your Weather Authority. Emily, back to you.
Thank you, Adam. Brand new developments in the Aton Pates case that's been gripping the nation for decades. New York police arresting New Jersey resident Pedro Hernandez, who now admits he murdered the 6-year-old boy back in 1979. Hernandez was in court today, a painful day for the Pates family.
Well, the man who confessed to killing a little boy 33 years ago today is now reportedly on suicide watch. Pedro Hernandez lived in the neighborhood of Aton Pates, worked in a store just across the street from the little boy's bus stop, and was reportedly included in a detective's report back in the day, but was never questioned until Wednesday. He'd reportedly confessed to relatives years ago that he'd done a bad thing and killed a child in New York, but it wasn't until last month when the NYPD and FBI dug up a basement a block from Eitan's home in a search for his body that someone close to Pedro Hernandez contacted the NYPD to report that Pedro might be the real killer. Wednesday, Hernandez reportedly confessed, telling detectives he'd lured Eitan to his store with the promise of a soda, choked him, and dumped his body in the trash.
We have a confession, a written confession, a signed confession. He spoke for 3.5 hours, videotape statements. Obviously, we believe that there's probable cause to go forward with this arrest.
Neighbors now reacting to Pedro's arrest say that he was very quiet, kept to himself. The only time they saw him, he'd be smoking on his front porch. He lived in New Jersey with his 20-year-old daughter and second wife. Police say he was remorseful during his confession, and Hernandez's brother-in-law says he hopes that this brings some closure to Eitan's family.
Now they're going to know what happened, and they don't have to search anymore. They don't have to suffer anymore in waiting whether he's alive or what happened or who killed him.
Still, there's no direct evidence of the boy's death, and some investigators remain skeptical that Hernandez really did it. He's expected to be arraigned sometime today here in Manhattan Criminal Court. In New York, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.
A man was in court today charged with attempted deliberate homicide. 28-year-old Theodore Major Green allegedly assaulted Ryan Scott back in March after getting into an argument over methamphetamine. Green demanded Scott pay him for the drugs, and when Scott tried to leave the 4th Avenue South residence, Green pulled out a knife and repeatedly tried to stab Scott. Scott began to run away when he was struck by Green in the shoulder near his spine. Scott continued to run through the house with Green close behind. Green then pulled out a 9mm and shot Scott, grazing the back of his right knee. Scott then dropped to his knees and begged for mercy when Green put the gun to his head and told him he was going to kill him. Green, who suffers from stage 2 muscular sclerosis and appeared in court today in a wheelchair, ended up not killing Scott, but he's been charged with attempted homicide, a felony, and his bond has been set at $100,000. While Memorial Day may be the unofficial start to summer, that traditional weekend cookout doesn't have to show up on your waistline. Denise Cole, a registered dietitian at Cleveland Clinic, says some simple swaps can make that cookout a healthy and tasty affair.
Salmon burgers are great. Put them on the grill. Put them on buns just like you normally would a hamburger. A whole wheat bun would be optimal. Some lettuce and tomato. You have a great omega-3 rich food for Memorial Day.
Some of Cole's other ideas include wrapping some veggies in foil to create a grilled vegetable medley, or you can make grilled fruit kebabs for the kids. And the Memorial Day weekend is typically the one many of us head to the swimming pool, but before you and the kids take that first dip, doctors at the Cleveland Clinic recommend a quick refresher course on drowning dangers.
The younger kids just need to never be left unattended. You find a tendency, a lot of public pools, for parents to let their kids go at it, and I'm going to sit over here and visit with my friends, and the lifeguards got it under control. Well, they're there to save lives. You're there to make sure you're keeping track of them.
A recent Centers for Disease Control and Prevention survey found drowning is the leading cause of injury and death in children between 1 and 4 years old. Researchers say males make up nearly 80% of drowning victims, and they suggest everyone in the family learning swimming basics and CPR. They also suggest formal swimming lessons for kids. Well, Adam, I'm thinking, though, that's good advice, but it'll probably apply to those who are leaving, going out of town for Memorial Day weekend for the swimming and the cookout.
Yeah, unless we're in an indoor pool, the only swimming I think we're going to be doing is maybe in some puddles splashing around in the rain, because we've got a lot of rain, even snow in the forecast, and we're going to take a look at those warnings that are out concerning your holiday travel coming up next. Here's tonight's Almanac.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Welcome back. 47 in Great Falls right now, and it's cloudy. So far, we've steered clear of the showers. We are expecting showers late tonight, and it's going to continue throughout your Saturday. Let's take a look at the latest warnings. There's winter storm warnings for the higher elevations in Cascade, Judith Basin, Ferguson, Marr counties. We've been upgraded from watches to advisories in Choteau Hill and Blaine counties. That's where 4 to 8 inches of snow is expected, with up to a foot over the ridge tops. There's also advisories for the Rocky Mountain front and down into Lewis and Clark County. 1 to 2 feet of snow is expected in the higher mountains above 6,000 feet, so there'll be slippery roads, low visibility. Because of heavy wet snow, possible damage to trees and power lines, and this is impacting areas like the Little Belt and Big Snowy Mountains all until noon Sunday. There's advisories out until the same time between 4,000 and 6,000 feet for 3 to 6 inches of snow. Most of that accumulating snowfall will occur Saturday night and Sunday morning. So you can get the exact details on all of the warnings and advisories on KFBB.com. Currently tonight we're watching low pressure in Nevada. This is going to track up into northeastern Montana. And that's where things are really going to get going with this rainfall rate. For now, it's cool outside. We're also seeing scattered showers. We've had snow along the divide. That will continue. Rainfall tonight in Billings and Miles City. And rain's going to get going for us pretty soon. Skies are unsettled. It's just a matter of hours. 46 in Great Falls, 43 in Helena. Here's what's to come. Colder air. 39 in Lewistown, 37 in Billings. So that system's going to lift through the state and erase the temperatures in the 40s and 50s we're seeing now for the Highline and Northeast. So winds are light. The rainfall, on the other hand, could be heavy at times. 1 to 2 inches. This could bring moderate flooding into parts of the Milk River in eastern Montana. Lows tonight in the 30s. Soggy Saturday, 47 in Great Falls, 40 in Lewistown, 53 in Helena. Cut Bank cutting back into the low 50s. Shelby, 44. A sopping Saturday to start the weekend. Breezy and wet along the Highline and Northeast, where we see temperatures topping out in the upper 40s and low 50s. Sunday, it's really not much different as those rain chances continue at 50%. On Monday, seeing some improvements, warmer for the holiday. Looks like we'll be in between. Another shower with a disturbance Tuesday, and then things come out ahead by late next week. We're in the 70s and 80s. But looks like before that rain tapers, it's going to be a slow winding down trend we're seeing for the capital. Emily, back to you.
Coming up, today marks Don't Fry Day, and we're not talking about food. And Scotty's finally made it to the real outer space. That's in tonight's entertainment update, up next on Fox 5.
Check out who's on Maxim's Hot 100 list. Idol's newest winner has got a lot on his plate, while X Factor auditions are just getting started. Finally, James Doohan, a.k.a. Scotty, is exactly where he wants to be. That's in tonight's entertainment update.
64-year-old rock pioneer Greg Allman believes his 7th time is the charm, getting engaged to his 24-year-old girlfriend, saying he's totally in love. No date has been set. Model Bar Raffaele tops Maxim's Hot 100 list, with Katy Perry, Selena Gomez, Jennifer Lopez, and Rihanna making the cut. The only man on the list is comedian Stephen Colbert. On Thursday's first day of Season 2 X Factor auditions in Austin, Texas, show creator Simon Cowell, L.A. Reid, and new judges Demi Lovato and Britney Spears saw about 10 acts together. Spears skipped the last 4, tweeting she was taking a break.
Philip Phillips.
While dominating Wednesday night's ratings, the Idol Season 11 finale was the lowest rated in the show's history. Meantime, champ Philip Phillips has severe kidney stones that bothered him the entire season. He will likely have surgery before the Idol summer tour kicks off on July 10th. Scotty's finally getting beamed up. The late actor James Doohan is having his ashes go where relatively few have had theirs go before, outer space. Doohan's ashes were aboard the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that took off Tuesday. Doohan and about 300 other sets of ashes were stored in a specially designed container held in the second stage of the rocket.
He is exactly where he wants to be. The only thing he would have preferred was to have gone up alive.
And by the way, you don't have to be in the space business or a famous person to have your ashes deposited in orbit. All you need is $3,000. And that's your entertainment update.
Well, today is Friday, and it's also Don't Fry Day, as in don't fry in the sun, a day to raise awareness about skin cancer as we slip into summer. Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start to summer, and millions of Americans are planning some fun in the sun, perhaps a trip to the beach. That's why the National Council on Skin Care Awareness is shedding some light on bad light like ultraviolet rays. Their message is simple: take care of your largest organ, your skin. Sunscreen is a must, but there are a few things to consider before heading to the store.
It's also important to look for a broad spectrum sunscreen that's of an SPF at least 30 to 50 would be ideal. And because those are the types of sunscreens that will protect you both from ultraviolet A, which can come through glass. So when you're driving in your car or even in your office, you're still getting ultraviolet exposure, and UVB.
And experts say keeping safe in the sun doesn't have to be expensive either, with Consumer Reports revealing some of the best sunscreens are store brands. And finally, don't forget the shades. Cloudy or not, the sun rays can damage your eyes as much as your skin. Well, Jerry, I was talking with Adam. You know, those warnings are more so for people traveling for the holiday weekend. Not much sun around here, right?
Not at all. And definitely, you know, in the world of sports, you talk about tennis, track and field, and especially softball, there was no sun whatsoever. We'll take a look at the state AA softball action from today as the Rustlers and Bison both got off to a good start. In their run for the title, our own Tom Wiley is in Kalispell, and he'll let us know which team stands the best chance to win it all. Folks, come on back, lock it in. Sports is up next.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
Day 2 of the State AA Softball Championship action resumed today, and the Rustlers of CMR and the Great Falls High Bison are both somehow still alive, trying to bring home a title of their own. Our Tom Wiley has an excitement, all of it, from Kalispell.
Well, thanks, Jerry. Tom Wiley here at the Kids Sport Complex in Kalispell. We began the day with 3 of our AA teams in position to advance to the state semifinals. We had at least one guaranteed spot as the CMR Rustlers brought their 8-game winning streak up against the Capitol High Bruins.
And that's where we'll start. The Rustlers plated 7 runs in just the first inning alone, but then Elisa Keeler allowed back-to-back-to-back home runs. This last one from Anna Morgan makes the score 7-6 in just the second inning. Keeler was pulled from the mound but went back to work at the plate. Her 2-run shot in the third right here, one of 3 home runs for the junior. She also had 7 RBIs on the day, went 4 for 4. CMR wins in 5 innings, 20-9 to advance to the state semifinals.
We hit really good. Like our offense is solid right now, and our defense is solid too, but our bats are just hot.
The Rustlers would play the winner between Great Falls High and Skyview, tied at 3 through 7 innings, so we'll go to extras. And Great Falls High's Kelsey Devlin blasts a solo shot with 2 outs in the top of the 8th, and the Bison take a 1-run lead. But Skyview is the top seed in the East for a reason. With 1 on, it's Caitlin Frank, singles up to right, scores a run, ties it up at 4 apiece. So then one more time, it's up to Devlin. 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning. She hits a 3-run home run, and the Great Falls High Bison get the second-round upset of Billings Skyview, which sets up an all-Great Falls semifinal.
That's what we wanted from the beginning. We've been staring at the bracket nonstop, and this is what we want. We want Crosstown for either a semi or a championship game.
So that sets the stage for this. CMR and Great Falls High. The winner will play for a state AA title. And the Bison stay hot in the first. Who else but Devlin? This is a sacrifice ground out. Katie Shermley comes across to score, makes it 2-0 Bison. Same inning here. Taylor come with a liner back to the wall. 2 runs would come across the plate, makes it a 5-run Bison lead. But the Rustlers hit 3 home runs to cut the lead to 11-7 and made defensive plays like this one from Maddie Mahoney to get within striking distance. But Katie Dolan catches Quinn Hartman looking for the final out of the ball game. The Bison win 11-7, and what seemed impossible at the start of spring is now a reality. The Great Falls High Bison will play for a state softball championship.
All the way season, I was hoping to get to state just to break that barrier and to go from there, and I never could imagine that it would go this well.
I had confidence in these girls 2 years ago, and when I was the JV coach, and I knew that we could just get them the right things and get the positive attitude up, we could do it.
They're a good team, and to know that we can beat them, we can beat anyone, and just we can do it tomorrow and get it done.
The weather was either wet, snowy, and chilly around the state, but one thing for certain, it was downright miserable in Butte and Bozeman, but it didn't stop runners from competing in the boys and girls class AA, C, and B state championship meets today. What a scene it was today at World Dog Memorial Stadium for the class AA and C state track meet. We'll start with the boys AA's 4x100 meter relay for top teams from each heat advancing to the finals, and Jake Meserly
led Seminole to a heat victory followed by a Big Sky and Helena Capital. Now it's the ladies' turn to run in the snow. CMR with the lead down the stretch, and the Rustlers win their heat. Big Sky and Sentinel also advance to the finals tomorrow. How about some field events? The boys class AA long jump. Bozeman's Nick Beauchesne with a jump of 20 feet 4 inches. He would finish in second. And your state long jumper for 2012 is Kyle Griffith from Glacier. Let's move down to Class C now, and it's the boys 800-meter run. And folks, Darby's Doug Raymer is a straight-up stud. He wins by a ton and will most likely be in the title run for the 1600 and 3200 tomorrow. AA girls high jump. Alicia Gilchrist from Helena can't quite get the 5'4", but she gets second. And your 4-time state champ is Lexi Boucher from Glacier with the career victory. So that's a look at softball and track and field. What an ugly day, but congratulations to CMR and Great Falls High to advance to the title. CMR looking to advance, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that update, Jerry. We'll be right back after this.
Sorry.
Fox 5 News at 9 continues right now.
That's all we have for tonight. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.